Lovely. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Africa, and warm welcome to the analysis program right on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. With me, Innocent Piri, can simply call me IP. Of course, today is the 23rd of November, the year 2025. We are back with the analysis program, discussing a lot of stories that might have, of course, escaped your menu in the course of this week. I have in the studio, of course, the usual faces, the big brains, as usual, in Pastor Kenneth Mambwe, or PK, is back. PK, good evening.
Good evening, IP, and good evening to our esteemed viewers. It's good to be here once again.
Thank you. And of course, the speech analyst in Comrade Mike Sichula is back in the studio. Comrade, welcome.
Thank you very much, IP, and good evening to our dear viewers. It's a lovely Sunday, and like I always say, we need to give praise to God because it is by His grace that we are always here on Sunday.
Indeed, allow me to officially welcome all of you that have managed to join us this evening on this program, where we discuss issues that pertains to our country. I know that some of you, of course, we've been sending greetings every day. Times we do meet in our, residential areas. You tell us how much you love this program. Thank you so much, and we value your support as well. We get into the discussion of this program this evening. Our first story on the program, rather on the menu, is the PF squabbles deepen, with a few days remaining before the General Conference. As the first item we are looking at this evening, and we shall also look at PF Acting President Honorable Lubinda attacked by some suspected Upnd cadres in Kabwe. But of course, on number 3, we'll be looking at Oasis Forum calls on members of the public to join in the protest against Bill 7 on November 28th, which will be Friday this week, as Muetwa and police warn against protesters. And Shua accuses UPND of 3 million kwacha bribery to each opposition MP in support of Bill 7. And finally, we shall look at Ndola Mayor Jones Kaliati brutally attacked by suspected UPND cadres again. The UPND cadres have continued maintaining our menu in as far as the analysis is concerned. PK, this week was quite eventful, and so many stories, of course, that are up for discussion this evening. But let us begin from the PF confusion. From one confusion to the other. From the Chawinga, rather from Mao Sampa fiasco to the Chawinga fiasco. Now, the given Lubinda, as well as his team, in the name of the Mr. Mpaka Tamsonda, who happens to be the national chairman. What's going on here? What's the story here?
An eventful week indeed, IP. Very unfortunate that the strongest and biggest opposition party would find itself embroiled in endless squabbles and divisions. It would appear to me that they do not completely understand the weight of responsibility on their shoulders as the biggest opposition political party in the country. At the moment, it would appear also that personal interests seem to be overriding national interest, because if they had understood fully the expectation of the nation at this stage, they would not have taken 4 years to be fighting.
Yep.
By now, they should have completely settled, and they would have by now given hope to a united opposition. Mind you, the opposition is waiting on the PF to a larger extent to see how best they can collaborate and move forward. But the very fact that the PF is still embroiled in squabbles, divisions, sackings and counter-sacking, leaves much to be desired. I can only hope and pray that even at this late hour, the Patriotic Front will come to a realization that the nation is counting on them to sort of provide some direction, but also to mature. You know, it is very, very disheartening that a party that has been in government before, yes, the structures still remain intact, but the party has failed, or the leadership has failed to lead itself, to provide leadership amongst themselves as leaders. So we are hoping, with the few months remaining to the general election, that it will dawn upon the PF that there is a huge expectation on their head. They are carrying the weight of the nation, as far as 2026 is concerned, on their shoulders, and they should not take this assignment lightly. They should also demonstrate that they are above board. There are a lot of accusations that some people are now being taken advantage of. They are being bought. We do not know whether those allegations are true or not. But it is incumbent upon them as PF leadership to rise above board and show that they cannot be bought, if at all they can't, and that they are not for hire by the highest bidder, and that the nation is bigger than their individual pockets. So that is what I can say at this stage.
Comrade speech analyst, I think I want to ride on what PK has mentioned. It's like the PF structures are quite intact as we speak right now. But the top leadership seems to be in a very confused state there. You know, what is the issue? What's going on here?
You know, thank you very much, IP. And when before the Mr. Given Lubinda gave that late in the night dismissals of certain members of the Central Committee, I was writing an article, an analysis on the presidential candidates for the PF. And in my conclusion of that analysis that I've not shared online, I had the thought to say, what is preventing the PF from quickly retaining power is they lack the purpose of unity as a party. They have not identified to say, if we become united, regardless of what has happened, because in that article I ruled out the aspect of Robert Chabinga destabilizing the PF, but the people that have remained, the people that have not gone in the wind or the route of Mr. Chabinga, these people, they lack the purpose of unity. To say, if we remained united as we are in this political squeezing that we have undergone in the last 4 years, we can still ride on the experience that we have, having served in government before, and the existing structures that are available across the country. They could use these two, experience having served in government and the existing structures, to get to the people to say, we are coming back, we want you to give us your support. These are the areas that we might have erred when we are in government, but when we want to, as we are asking for your vote, we are going to do A, B, C, D, to give an assurance to the members out there who still believe in them that they can lead this country in 2026. But alas, they have failed the Zambian people. They have failed to identify that they are still a popular political party among some Zambians. They have failed to create this purpose of unity to say, I think we cannot go as we are, where 9 of us or 8 of us want to be the president. Because when we do this, we are kind of like splitting the votes or splitting the support from one of each other. Why don't we create a situation where we say, okay, out of the 9, maybe 2 or 3, maybe they step aside to give someone who is popular amongst them. Because if candidate A is popular than candidate D amongst those that are vying for presidents, someone can take back. Because you take a seat back, give chance to the top 3 or the top 4 contenders, then you create a situation that you should have a leader in the quickest possible time. Because the convention, the elective convention, is supposed to take off this month end. But with the squabbles that we have seen, it is highly unlikely that we are going to see this convention go successfully, because the people that are governing this process seem to be creating more divisions, and it is something that is not something that is good for the Zambians. Then lastly, I think the only challenge we have seen, Mr. Lubinda, for instance, is a candidate.
Yep.
I think there should have been a provision within the constitution of the PF. If you express interest to vie for the presidency, you step down from certain positions that you hold in the party, so that you don't create undue advantage for yourself. Because look, the people that have been suspended or dismissed, some of them, I've seen some of them, for instance, like Melesiana Piri, she was one of those that was dismissed. She has publicly shown her support for Mr. Brian Mundubire. So you could insinuate to say maybe Mr. Lubinda is not happy to say some of these people that are in the central committee are supporting the other candidate and they're not supporting me. So let me frustrate them by removing them from the party. So I think from the central committee. So I think there should have been a mechanism which the PF should have. If it doesn't exist in their constitution, I think going forward, it should be enshrined in the party constitution to say, if you are going to vie, you express interest to be the party president, and you hold a senior position in the party, you should step down from that position so that you create a level playing field for any of the candidates that are vying for the president. Imagine if Mr. Lubinda just dismissed one of the presidential candidates because of 1 or 2 things that they have done. What chaos it could be. So I think what we are seeing in the PF is a lot of disorganization, and the party that is disorganized, I don't think if they were given a chance to govern this country again, they may be as united as Zambians would expect. Because if you win power in a disorganized state, then it will take a lot of time for you to stabilize and begin to look at the national cake as something that you need to provide. So it is a very sad state of affairs, and it doesn't inspire confidence for young politicians.
Let's quickly subject something you've said regarding the expulsion from the Central Committee of some members of parliament like Madam Melesiana Piri, among others. If that to be the basis of expelling her, maybe somehow one may say
I don't
it
think
may
they've
not
been
be
expelled. I think they've been dropped from the Central Committee, not expelled.
from the. No, I said expelled from the Central Committee.
Okay.
Let's correct the English there. Maybe I could be wrong. All right. Expelled from the Central Committee.
Maybe just say fired.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you so much, Pika, for that. Yeah, so let's subject to that. We've got Honorable Mumbi Piri, for example, who has equally come out supporting Makebi Zulu, openly so, that I told the country that at the right time I'm going to declare who my candidate is going to be. And she's come out. Makebi Zulu is Mumbipiri's rightful candidate. So if we are going to use that argument, that it could be the reason why she's been expelled, I don't know, maybe someone is going to argue with us.
No, what I did say is not exactly that that could be the reason, but Honorable Piri has come out to support one of the candidates because according to her, Mr. Mundubile has exhibited leadership. So, it's like I slap you today, IP. Then the next morning you begin to say a lot of praises for PK. The people out there will begin to say, I think that's why I slapped you, because you did not support me. You are supporting PK. So what Mr. what Mr. Lubinda should have done has opened a box of a can of worms. Because look, Mr. Lubinda, from the time he was harassed in Kabwe, you and I, we have not heard from him speak to the ordeal. He has not told anyone what happened and how he was treated, whether he went to the hospital or is fine or is not fine. He has not told the nation. So, is he telling the Zambians that according to his investigations now, according to his investigations, that the people that he has suspended or the people that he has fired from the Central Committee are behind the harassing that he suffered in Kabwe? Because he has not told us what happened when he was harassed in Kabwe. He has not told the nation. So he has created a situation where people now begin to speculate and begin to create situations and narrations of their own. If the dismissal has got nothing to do with the former Central Committee members supporting other presidential candidates who are in the same, who are vying for the PF presidency. So there are two situations that have been created. Did Mr. Lubinda fire those people because they are not supporting him, or did Mr. Lubinda fire those people because, according to his investigations, those people might have supported the people that harassed him in Kabwe? So those kind of situations are something that Mr. Lubinda needed to respond to the Zambian people.
Today he has come out briefly. You missed it. There are some people that went to visit him at his residence, and he was hesitant to speak to the Kabwe incident. He said at the right time he's going to address the nation. He said he went to the hospital yesterday. And he has generated a police report, and he referred to the fact that even though some people were arrested, the police have encouraged him to go and lodge in a formal complaint, and he hoped to do that. However, I do not think that the people that he fired were in any way, perhaps, maybe not, linked to the Kabwe incident, because the statement that came from his faction was that he was acting based on the powers conferred on him by the Constitution to instill discipline in the party. Discipline, those close to the debacle within the party are insinuating that there was a plot to compel him to relinquish the acting president's position, the very point you are advancing. There was a scheme by the Mpakatas and others, and the Shakafuswas to compel him to relinquish the party acting position so that they can be
The level playing field.
on level playing field. But others have argued that the chairperson of the party only comes in to assume power when the president has called for a convention. So the person who should call for the convention is the president, in this case the acting president. Then when he has called for that, presiding over the convention is now
The chairperson.
the preserve of the chairperson, according to the PF constitution. Now, when Mr. Lubinda, from what I understand, heard that there is a plot to remove him from the acting position, he felt some people were planning to undermine his authority. These are not substantiated claims, but these are things that we are hearing from people within the corridors of the PF, as it were. And so he acted on the premise that he needed to instill discipline to forestall a plot that was aimed at almost instigating a coup, if you like, in quote unquote. That's how he perceived it. And so that is what has led to this. My personal view is the PF as a whole have lost a huge opportunity after the Kabwe debacle, the Kabwe attack of Mr. Lubinda. There was huge public sympathy there. From a strategic point of view, they needed to ride with that public sympathy. You understand? But what they did a day after literally took away that sympathy, and everyone said, look at the PF, they can never reform, they can never rebrand, they are the same. They missed an opportunity that presented itself because the cadres in Kabwe, there is that gentleman called Kelvin Mwangala. He confessed that they were effecting a citizen's arrest because these people didn't have a permit. So there was already an admission of guilty from the opposition that they were involved. But instead of them harnessing this, they go and start fighting internally. And it watered down this issue of UPND attacking Mr. Lubinda in Kabwe. It has been watered down completely, and most people have forgotten about it. They have moved on. So it's a lack of strategic insight and strategic, positioning. To say, how can we leverage this Kabwe attack? There was a lot of, as I said earlier, a lot of public sympathy over this matter. Look at how they were dragging the old man. Look at that. Everyone was very, very shocked. So to think that you have that today and tomorrow you start fighting, it's very unfortunate.
As you close, PK, what of also the appointment of, for example, Mao Sampa as the SG, acting SG for now, who is also a participant in this case? Because I've always mentioned that leadership should go hand in hand with morality. So when you are an active participant, maybe those who are pushing for Honorable Lubinda to relinquish that position, they could be right in their own sense as well.
Yeah, but look, Mr. Lubinda's appointments in the dead of the night were a knee-jerk reaction. There was no strategic thought applied to those appointments. So that's why you can find that even someone with that bad record of having brought the PF to where it is today would even be considered. But don't forget this, the only strategic consideration there was to keep Mao Sampa closer
to him.
Because
I think I saw that as well.
Yes, because he's a troublemaker. And right now, he is the one seemingly, based on the ruling of May, I think, the May or July ruling of Concepta? Chinyama, Judge Chinyama. Mao Sampa still is a leader
of the PF.
Therefore, you don't want to let him loose again. So the only strategic consideration to appoint Mao Sampa is to manage him, because he can cause more trouble going forward if they let him loose.
Interesting. think that's the angle. Comrade, that is...
Yeah, that's all.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All right, let's move on, Director, to story number 2. And this time now, we'll be looking at we look at Given Lubinda was attacked by some suspected UPND cadres, whose video, I think it was highlighted by Director on the screens. Maybe we can just have it on the screen right away again. Lubinda again was attacked by some suspected UPND cadres in Kabwe at a private lodge. Wow. A gentleman comes out and confesses. I think, Director, let's have both videos. We also hear what Mwangala, who is saying is a UPND acting chairperson under the youth wing in Kabwe, spoke about.
A lawmaker, it's high time that we manifest our integrity in what we say. Let's be honest. Mr. Given Lubinda came in Kabwe without informing the police. They were meeting at 3 seasons without the permit of the police. You know, that was unlawful assembly. As we follow the law is there very clearly that before you hold such type of gathering, you have to get permit from the police. But they went and started meeting that site without knowing that our youths were also mobilizing. So our youths were provoked. That's where this whole fracas started from. And on the same police officers who are told that they are HH policies, they are the ones who have protected Mr. Given Lubinda. He was snitched there by the officer in charge, taken safely. As I'm talking to you, Mr. Lubinda is okay. I've seen him. He has been released. He's okay. So these sentiments that Mr. Brian Mundubire is saying, they are not true. So at times, let's be honest, even as much as we want to do propaganda, even as we want to make a name, let's be honest with ourselves. Unlike spreading news which is not correct, on the same, I would urge the police. I think it's high time that the police now should move in to tell us if at all Mr. Given Lubinda got a police permit for them to have that assembly there. Because if it's not, then even us will be having it. Because as we are following the law, who is Mr. Given Lubinda to come without getting the permit to host that assembly? Who is he? All of us, we are citizens, and we need to follow the law. So what has been said by Mr. Mundubire, it's a lie. And he has to come out and apologize to us as UPND because we are not happy. Why is he dragging us into their own mess? We know last time he was here in Kabwe. We know why they are frequenting Kabwe. We know what they are trying to do. But we can assure you we are intact, and as UPND youths, we follow the law because our president, he has said it a number of times that if we go against the law, you are on your own. So we are very much aware of that, and we keep that in our minds wherever we go as youths. So this is what I want to say to the people of Zambia. Whatever is being said outside, it's a lie. Given Lubinda is okay, and all the members, no one has been beaten. Get it from me. You can even find out from the police. They will tell you the record. Thank you.
Right, so that's a story which is under discussion this evening of Honorable Given Lubinda was attacked in Kabwe by some suspected UPND cadres. And of course, a few hours later or a few minutes later, while the country was still investigating, asking burning questions, who attacked Honorable Given Lubinda, a good Samaritan comes on the screens in the name of Kelvin Mwangala from the UPND, giving much details to this story. Okay.
Yeah, the young man came out timely to give clarity and context to what may have happened in Kabwe. But it was surprising to see that party officials disowned him only because he admitted that it was the UPND youths that went and apprehended Mr. Lubinda. The UPND wanted to stay away and stay clear. In fact, there was a build-up of a narrative that the people who might have been sent there were paid. They could have been youth individuals from the PF itself. But quickly, this young man agreed and accepted the fact that these were UPND youths that went and did that. Now, before I go further into this, one of the things that members of the public and our viewers must always remember is that we were given assurances by the UPND that they will repeal the Public Order Act to make sure that there is freedom of association, freedom of assembly, and all the requirements that are befitting of a democratic society. To see that the UPND today would grow cold feet and catch a cough over the fact that PF that is going to the convention has to mobilize. How do you expect a party to mobilize without meeting the structures and members? And at what point are they going to be getting permits if as we know, they have given themselves up to this month and to hold the general convention, and at every 10 they should be getting police permit when you even know that the police will not give them that police permit? It's very unfair for the UPND to be crying foul today that as we saw in that clip, that the PF or Mr. Lubinda in particular didn't get a police permit when the UPND promised to do away with this draconian Public Order Act. It was not favorable to them, and I'm wondering why they are happy that it should be favorable today, and they should abuse it, because this is abuse. Who told this young man called Kelvin Mwangala that Mr. Lubinda didn't get a police permit?
And how did he know?
How did he know?
He's a police officer.
If Mr. Lubinda didn't get a police permit, why didn't you go and report to the police? Why must you do the job of the police? Your job should have been to go and report to the police and let the police
find out,
effect an arrest if at all there was any breach in the law. And then the other thing I must mention, all those youths, they should not forget, we are Zambia, we are Africa, we respect the elders. They may be politicians, but they are elders. This Mr. Lubinda that was being abused has been a minister of justice, a minister of information. He has been
agriculture,
a minister of agriculture. He has been
tourism,
in very high, ranking portfolios of governance. Even just his age, if you were to arrest him, you cannot be dragging him disrespectfully in the manner that those youths did. You don't do that. Let us not use politics to a level that we run away from what binds us together as a nation. Respect for the elders is one such. Clearly, if you disagreed with Mr. Lubinda and the people that he was meeting, there must be a polite way and respectful way to address them. You can't be dragging an elderly man in the manner that you did, you people, youths from Kawe. That's unacceptable. We should never reduce our nation to those levels of lawlessness and disrespect for the elders in the name of politics. And you want to hide under the pretext that you are doing this in the name of observing the law? No, that is not right. That's un-Zambian, it's unacceptable, and you need to be condemned that you shouldn't be doing things like that. That's an old man. He's a father, he's a grandfather, and he's a leader of this nation. He may not be in government today, but clearly if he dropped dead today, God forbid, this same government will accord him national mourning. It is an entitlement to him. So don't respect leaders only when they die. Respect them while they are still alive. That is what we We know that is the Zambia we love. That's the culture we must uphold, not that culture of dragging elders in the name of politics. We refuse. If you think anyone has committed a crime, report them to the police. It's not, in your hands to, to enforce the law unless the police are not anywhere near.
Right, comrade, your take.
A very sad day for Zambia. That what happened at 3 Seasons Lodge in Kabwe. I'll speak to this from different fronts. Number one, the police, they have got the intelligence system. So regardless of whether Mr. Lubinda had a payment or did not have a payment, if the police were on top of things, what happened to Mr. Lubinda was going to be prevented. So the public confidence that Zambians put on the police is slowly getting eroded because they failed to handle that process. They failed to protect Mr. Lubinda, who was harassed by UPND cadres. I will not call them suspected. Those are UPND cadres.
Yeah.
Number two, when I saw this video, I remembered in my days of practicing journalism, when I was a steward at 5FM, a similar incident happened to Major Richard Kachingwe. He was harassed by MMD cadres by then.
Bowman
Lusambo. There were squabbles for the leadership of the MMD between Nevas Mumba and others.
In a similar fashion.
In a similar fashion. An elderly man moved, pulled here and there. That is something that we should condemn as Zambians. And like the other day when some youth stoned President Hakainde Hichilema, it was on this platform I said, regardless of whether you like Mr. Hichilema or not, you as a political party leader, church leaders and whoever you are, we need to condemn such acts. Because once we begin to pay a blind eye or to begin to justify, I saw the statement that was issued by the Minister of Central Province. I was disappointed, for instance, because he, in one breath, he says, according to our investigations, we have established that the people that harassed Mr. Lubinda, they are not connected to the UPND. Then shortly again he said, but if we're going to find something connecting the UPND youths, we're going to punish them. So you begin to ask yourself, are we genuinely supporting Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to curb political violence? We are not, especially UPND senior leaders in the party and in the government. They are not supporting Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to fight political violence. Because in one breath, they will say Kadarism is back. Remember the Bwengwa member of parliament? When he appeared on cameras, he couldn't just apologize for his careless statement that he issued when he held a meeting with UPND cadres. He began to justify, to say, no, we love President Hakainde Hichilema and so on and so forth. So for me, when I see leaders of government, leaders of the UPND say certain things in public in the fight against Kadarism, I begin to tell myself to say, when President Hakainde Hichilema says, if you commit a crime, you are on your own. To me, I've translated that to mean Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is on his own in fighting political violence. How many times has President Hakainde Hichilema denounced political violence? Several times and on different platforms, the president has spoken to it to say, under our administrations, we will not condone such activities. But how many times have you seen UPND cadres go and close offices of district commissioners? How many times? Several times. The latest case is in Petauke.
Yeah.
Today, have you heard even the Eastern Province UPND chairperson condemn such acts? I've not come across it, unless if other Zambians have come across it. So if you begin to see that selective, the president speaks this, but the people that are following him are not applying what the president has spoken.
Yeah.
Then you begin to say, when the president speaks that I don't want Kadarism, he is on his own. The people that are supposed to enforce that directive are not helping the president. Because political Kadarism does not just start from beating. That does not just start from harassing people. It starts from youths insulting elderly persons. We have seen is it Northwestern Province, is it Bruce Kanema? He insulted former President Edgar Lungu. Did the police arrest him? No, they have not arrested him. So it begins from those small issues you disregard and manifests now into harassing people, into stoning people, because you have failed to address it from the moment someone speaks ill of the former president, for instance, in an unrude language, because it falls under violent Kadarism. Such a person should be disciplined and the police should move in for hate speech. But that has not been happening.
As a matter of fact, just to add
Yes,
a small point here to what speech analyst is saying, you know, the UPND demonized the PF over the issue of Kadarism. The UPND wanted to portray themselves as if they are angels. Now people are beginning to question, is it that the PF were in defense mode? Because you have never seen in PF, you never saw any PF cadre go to attack UPND secretariat. It never happened. Now Liswaniswa was in the media and he confessed that those who went to attack the PF secretariat a few days ago
Are his members.
are his members.
Yeah.
He confessed that. And then my colleague here has talked about how many offices have been threatened for closure by UPND cadres, threatening civil servants at district commissioner level. A lot of them. How many people are being attacked? Excuse me. Later today we'll discuss the attack of Ndola Mayor, Jones Kaliati, by the UPND cadres. The young man that you interviewed on this program, on this platform rather,
Black Apple.
Black Apple, it was UPND cadres. How many times are we going to see UPND cadres attacking innocent people and they should still say PF was kicked out because of Kadarism? If PF was kicked out because of Kadarism, we can safely say, as like we were learning in a special paper 1, if X is to Y, then Y is equal to X. If PF were kicked out because of Kadarism, we can predict that UPND is about to be kicked out because of the same Kadarism and many others. There is no way one wrong will only be a wrong because it is practiced by PF and it should be acceptable under the UPND. Absolutely no. And the very fact that we are not seeing some of these arrests, yes, we have heard of the Kabwe, they've been arrested, okay?
And what is shocking that on those arrests so far, this young man
who confessed is
suspect.
He's not on the list. He's not on the list. So the UPND should not think that Zambians are not observing. Zambians are watching this, and Zambians haven't forgotten. It was only 4 years ago that PF was kicked out of power. And then to think that your Kadarism will be accepted by Zambians, you are burying your heads in the sand. If PF was kicked out of power because of Kadarism, you might as well start packing, because Kadarism will never be accepted in Zambia. UPND might as well start counting their days that they are numbered because of this level of ugly Kadarism. It was rejected under the PF. It must strongly be rejected by the UPND.
But you know, PK, like I said, the president is speaking alone. The president is not supported. Today, I think you heard, He spoke to it to say, no, I hold a press briefing on Tuesday. But regardless of the many statements that the president has spoken, the police are mute. Why are the police not effecting an arrest? Even President Hakainde, Edgar Lungu, during his time, when people complained about Kadarism, he would go on public forums and say, I condemn political violence. But did the police move into act? They didn't. So meaning there is someone within the UPND who stops the police from doing their job.
I mean, it's like a case of, we have lost something maybe in our community, and then we are looking for a thief. No, where is the thief? Where is the thief? Then someone goes to the police. No, I'm the one. I was one of the people that stole the phone. And then you fail to arrest such a one. What kind of investigations are you carrying out as a police officer?
So this is why I'm saying the police, I think the UPND need to listen to this. The police and other government institutions, they will actually make your way to lose power, because they will begin not to act in the way you should act. Because, Mr. IP, lawless, the police was created by an act of parliament to maintain law and order. If in the community a crime has been committed, then I parade myself to say, actually,
I'm one of the thieves.
No, not one of the thieves. I know the person who stole.
Oh, I see.
Then you, as a police, you move into this area, you arrest 7 people, and you don't interview me, the person who said, I know the person who stole. What investigations are you carrying?
Well, let's move on. Thank you so much, Comrade. We'll go to story number 2 now. Let's talk about the protest, which the scheduled protest, which is being organized by the Oasis Forum. Number 3 story. There's been a lot of talks around the constitutional making process in Zambia, and later on the president went on and established a constitutional technical committee of the Mshabati. But still more, the people of Zambia and the critical stakeholders, NGOs, the church, and for the first time we are seeing the Catholic bishops wanting to join and urging the members to be part and parcel of this protest. On the other side, the president is saying, no, hold on there. We cannot handle this matter via the street. Can you come to State House with dialogue? PK.
If I were in the ruling party, I would be very worried to hear it is the Roman Catholic Church that is calling for a protest. It's not an NGO.
Yeah.
Maybe you can disregard the laws, maybe you can disregard the NGO CC, but when the entire ecclesia says, let's meet at the Freedom Statue, and they will appear naming Gila, they will come dressed up in the clerical collar to lead the procession. I can only imagine which police is going to start pulling and pushing Archbishop Chama, Archbishop Banda, and all of these. I can only imagine which police officer will have the guts to touch the anointed men of God. Now, the question is, why must we even get here? If the UPND administration was a listening government as they claim, we should never be in this place. Because people said, no one is against amendment of the Constitution.
Yeah.
It is the timing that is wrong. And so they challenged that through the Constitutional Court. Yes. The Constitutional Court ruled the process unconstitutional. Illegal. You go and revive the same Bill 7 and you turn it into terms of reference to hoodwink the people, and then the president handpicked people. He never went to these bodies to say, let's give us a person. NGOCC, give us a person. Church mother body, give us a person. He unilaterally, picked all these people and put them together. And most of people have said these are compromised individuals, so they do not represent the interest of the nation. That's why when you are doing a constitutional amendment, you cannot restrict and say they must only operate within these terms of reference, which is really Bill 7. That was rejected. So the very fact that this administration disregarded the cause of the church, LAS, NGOCC, the media, and several, citizens, ordinary citizens, and hoped to go this route under a very tight schedule, shows that they are not respecting the voice of the citizens. And if we're a democracy, there is absolutely no way the government would want to practice their power and exercise, this level of autonomy, that they disregard the views of the people, the voices of the people, and want to go only with what they want to do. That is disregarding what democracy is supposed to to entail. We are in a participatory democracy.
Yeah.
Government must do its part. Let the citizens also do their part.
Yeah.
It must be by agreement. You cannot have the government always wanting to bulldoze its way. That is why we are here, because people rejected Bill 7 and they said the timing was wrong, the process was wrong. You can't disregard the fact that people have said, if we are going to do a constitutional amendment, let it be holistic. One. Number two, let it be the first item that the UPND must do should they win 2026 elections. So no one has rejected the constitutional amendment. The only thing is, why are you tying it to an election? It must happen before the election. Why? Why are you planting seeds of suspicion in the minds of the people? But of course, people have the right to be suspicious, because you want to delimitate. Where is the delimitation report? And people now are saying they want to delimitate in the places where they consider to be strongholds, so that even if they lost power, they'll still be in control of parliament. We have seen their private report that was published to say that the way they are going to project this is to project it to say this constitutional amendment is about inclusivity, youth participation, women participation, the people with disability, when in fact it is about control of the legislature. That is what this is all about. And people have raised all these concerns. And therefore, I don't see why the president should even now be saying, come to State House and dialogue. Because the same team is asking to go and dialogue with them. They dialogued with him. That is the time that he deferred Bill 7. They went and dialogued with him. What does he want to tell them that he didn't tell them then? I think the government is playing double standard. The government wants to bulldoze the process against the wishes of the citizen. My view is this: if, as we have been told by the Oasis Forum, that they satisfied the requirement of the law by serving notice to the police, in fact they left that with the Inspector General of Police. So they have satisfied the requirement within the time frame that is provided for within the law. So the demonstration on the 28th is not illegal. If it is not illegal, as media houses, we will show up and cover it live, because it is not illegal. And in any case, because they have followed the process to serve notice on the police, and members of the public are going to gather at Freedom Statue and march to State House, it is a good thing in a democracy. Protesting, as long as there is no destroying of property, as long as there is no violence, if it is a civil manner of just registering your displeasure, the police must be there actually to protect the protesters. The problem we have in this nation, IP, is that we first of all condemned those people who stoned the president. On this program, we said, even if you disagreed with the president, you have no right to stone the head of state. You must respect that office. Even if you don't like President Hakainde Hichilema, at least respect his office. That's it. We condemned that.
Yeah.
But what did we see? 2-3 days later, solidarity march with the president by cadres on the copper belt.
Did they have the permit?
They didn't have a permit.
Zero.
But the police allowed them just because they were standing and marching in solidarity with the president. And you want the Zambian people who are aggrieved over a flawed process of constitutional making not to go ahead? Please be fair in the application of the law. Be fair in the manner that you handle public grievances. Because if you are not being fair, you are actually the ones as leadership that is going to aggrieve the process. I am very happy to hear the president has said, come. So in that saying come to State House, I would like to see, because as I said, they have fulfilled the law. Let them march from statute to State House, and then let the leadership of those who will be marching be the ones to go and meet the president, but allow the procession to go ahead. They will not be flouting any law. They have fulfilled the requirement of the law. So don't make what is legal illegal.
Interesting.
Let's promote, public expression of displeasure. That's the only way we're going to hold our government to account. You cannot permit those who are standing and marching in solidarity with the president go ahead, and yet others who want to protest against constitution, you say it is illegal. No, that is unfair.
We can cite so many examples, Speaker. When you were speaking, of course, I remembered a public procession which was held by the UNZA students going to State House.
Yes.
They protested peacefully, and eventually they were addressed by the president, upon arrival at State House.
Exactly.
So why should you tell the Oasis Forum, say, can you call off the protest? Just come in private and we discuss.
No,
I think
those are the double standards. I'm talking about. When the students from all these institutions of learning, higher learning, march to State House in support of the meal allowances and the construction of dormitories, they were allowed. They probably didn't have a permit. Now, just because this expression of dissatisfaction over the constitutional making process, you want to politicize it when you didn't stop the students from having a rally at State House. Government must be fair. You must be seen to be fair in how you preside over public matters. 20th November, given that the organizers have followed the law, I can speak for myself. I think I'll go there.
Wow. As a citizen.
As a
citizen as well.
In my capacity as a citizen, because I recognize OAS Forum has given a public statement that they fulfilled the requirement of the law. That's why I will personally go and support them. If they didn't satisfy the law, I was not going to go there because I do not support lawlessness.
Interesting.
But the fact that they've told us they satisfied the requirement of the law, and the letter was delivered to the Inspector General of Police, and the President has said, come, let us dialogue. I may not go into State House, but I think I'll support those who will be marching against Bill 7. Because even me as an individual, as a citizen with NRC from Chinsali, Senior Chief Nkula, I do not subscribe to the constitutional making process this particular time. I will join the protest on 28th because it is legally constituted.
Should the protest really, should the police only favor those who would want to protest when it favors the president? We want to applaud you, Mr. President, for introducing meal allowances. We want to applaud you, Mr. President, for restructuring the debt. We have seen all these protests. Shouldn't it be in favor of the president for you to get the so-called permit or favors?
The law is supposed to be given to any person. It's supposed to apply fairly, without fear or favor, to any person in government or in opposition. To me, having interacted with some police officers in the Zambia police,
Yeah.
the police are very professional. They are very professional in the way they do their work. The only problem comes in when there is political interference. We have heard how just accepting a request to say we want to do this procession, you know, someone who's supposed to receive that letter of notice, people are fearing to receive because they may be cited to like you're fighting the government. So to me, the police, when they are allowed to work and carry out their duties according to the Act of Parliament, they are very professional. The only issue comes in when there's political interference to say this you can allow, this you cannot allow. I'll cite an example. The opposition citizens first, out of about 27 applications to hold a public meeting, less than 10 have been given a go-ahead. Now you can imagine, four. Out of 27, you get 4. It's not the wishes of the police that they should deny the opposition to hold political rallies. It is not the wishes of the police. They want to allow the opposition to conduct their activities. But there's always someone within the system of government to say the ruling party does not subscribe to this and that. Now, coming to the Oasis Forum, it gives the UPND as the governing party an opportunity to demonstrate to Zambians that there is no shrinking of democratic space in this country. What the UPND should do, especially the UPND leadership in under Lusaka, where Mr. Obvious Mariteta is the chairman, what they should do is that whoever of their members on social media platforms who is saying if the Oasis Forum are going to be allowed to protest, we are also going to be there. That is calling for anarchy. Because let the Oasis Forum and whoever is going to be there, let them march from Freedom Statue. And remember, that is symbolic. The Freedom Statue, it is a symbolic position in Zambia's history. Let them be allowed to be there. The police, let them be there in terms of providing security to ensure that there is law and order. What the organizers again should guard against is, let them guard against people that may use that platform to commit lawlessness, whereby as they'll be marching from Freedom Statue, they begin to cause, you disrupt traffic unnecessarily, or you begin to provoke other people unnecessarily. That should be avoided. That should be avoided. When that is avoided, it is going to be of benefit and a good mark on the leadership of the UPND in Lusaka to say, you see, even if you, the opposition and others say there's shrinking space of democracy in Zambia, look, these people, maybe 200, 500 of them, they marched from Freedom Statue to State House and nobody attacked them. Because at the end of the day, the process, the constitutional process has already started. And it is almost nearing completion, because the committee is supposed to submit a report to President Hakainde Hichilema before the month end of this year. So regardless of this march that is going to be conducted by the Oasis Forum, the position of the government, the position of the UPND on this process is that it should go ahead. the Oasis Forum and their procession from Freedom Statue to State House will not change the minds of President Hakainde Hichilema to say, I'm going to shelve this. No, he has already made his mind, because these organizations have spoken before this process started to say, Mr. President, hold on. He has not listened to them. So even him, President Hakainde Hichilema, saying, you can come to State House, but don't just end outside of State House. Come inside and discuss. Even if they went to discuss with him, nothing will come out from there, because the process has already started. unless if the president
is a listening president.
Okay. He's a listening president.
Can we give him a benefit of doubt?
At least for now.
At least for now,
Uh-huh.
that after the protest on the 28th, he will call off until after the elections.
maybe if he did that.
And then I've received a message. Someone is saying, IP, you are very much correct, because even just the same protest, just tell the Oasis Forum to change the name from protesting against to protesting as a way to thank the president. They will be allowed to go ahead.
Thanking him for what?
For in favor of the constitution making process.
Oh, but that defeats
They will
the
be allowed.
purpose. But that defeats the purpose.
No, the same grouping, if they just said, we want to march in a peaceful protest in support of the...
Oh, they would be allowed.
They will be allowed, yes.
I see.
That's what this message
No,
say.
but then we are becoming a nation of praise singers. Then.
No,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be like
We
that.
shouldn't reduce ourselves to a nation of praise singers. Divergent views must be allowed.
Right.
Yes. And
Remember, I talked with you before we went on set to
Yes.
say there was a time, is it Anson Banda?
Yeah.
Is it District Anderson Banda?
Yes.
He conducted a demonstration over butane. So they shouldn't say this is it has not been done before. It has been done before by the UPND themselves
Maybe
against butane.
I want us to wind up, but let's watch, I think, just to balance the story, we hear what the government has said regarding this matter within a few minutes, then we go to the second last story. Let's have this video of Honorable Mwetwa. We find out what the government has on this matter. Right, so this is, of course, the analysis program. We are looking at the Oasis Forum organizing a protest, which is slated for Friday this week. And we've seen various stakeholders, such as the Catholic Church, advising its members to join in unanimity and be able to protest. But also the government says there's need for us to dialogue. We should not go on the street. Let's hear from Honorable Mwetwa.
To reject Bill 7 have been met. We wish as government, firstly, to say President Hakainde Hichilema is a listening president, and the new Dawn administration is a listening government. Therefore, government appreciates the role that the church plays, not just in terms of the spiritual development of our people, but in national governance, particularly in the participation of the church in the uplifting and improvement of the livelihoods of our people by participating in the education sector, participating in the health sector. Therefore, your government, the new Dawn administration, is cognizant of the fact that the church is an integral part of the governance of this country. And President Hakainde Hichilema would like to continue with that tradition of the church being at the center of the governance of our country. We would like to indicate, therefore, that relevant going forward, we call upon the church, the entire church leadership, we call upon civil society actors like the Oasis Forum and any other such formations of entities that are an integral stakeholder interest group in the governance of our country to know that the new Dawn administration continues to govern this country on the basis of an open door policy. If there are issues of concern plaguing our people or some people, President Hakainde Hichilema and his administration are willing to dialogue. We believe in peaceful means of resolving national issues and not calling out citizens to go on the streets. Yes, that is a human right, and it is guaranteed by our Constitution that citizens can peaceably mobilize themselves into a procession or a gathering to express themselves about something they are concerned with, either to government or to whoever that is intended to be communicated to. But that right alone does not exist with limitless bounds, because certain individuals who may not be the initial originators of the idea to go out and communicate a particular message in public may take advantage of such processions to engage into the breach of public peace. We are now just at the advent.
Number 4 there of that's the picture of Honorable Mwetwa, the Chief Government Spokesperson, speaking to the pending protest, of course, which will be held on 28th of November this month. Now, this reminds me of PK. Quickly, I just wanted to take a minute and also speech analyst, then we'll move on. We had a similar incident, I think, under the PF Bill 10. I remember covering the yellow card campaign as well, when people felt aggrieved under the PF over Bill 10, and they went ahead to protest. The protest was held right at Parliament grounds with various stakeholders, and UPnd MPs were present, quite a number of them. What has changed today?
Absolutely. And I want to agree with the minister on 2 points, and I'll disagree with him on the third point. I want to agree with him when he says it is a constitutional right for citizens to gather and protest if they are aggrieved.
Yeah.
It's a constitutional provision.
And is correct on that.
And is very correct. So let's not argue about that.
Right.
Let the Oasis Forum perform a constitutional right, as the minister said, on the 28th. That's number one. Number two, I want to agree with him when he says President Hakainde Hichilema and the UPnd are a listening government. They listened once about this same bill, Bill 7. They deferred it.
Yeah.
People, or should we say citizens, are still dissatisfied with the whole process. As the minister said, this is a listening government. 2 things they need to do. Call off this constitutional making until after the election. The other thing that they should do is actually show that they listen to the citizens. They should never, this one I need to emphasize,
Right.
they should never stop the constitutional right of citizens to express themselves. The 28th procession, and I think that's why the police have spoken, the chief government has spoken, and the president has spoken. The momentum at which this thing has reached, it would be very suicidal for the government to attempt to stop this constitutionally convened protest. It will be suicidal on the part of the government. Whether they want to unleash police, it will be suicidal. The other point that the minister spoke to, that the people who may not have been part of the initial conception of the idea might wish to join and disrupt. What the government must do through the police is to make sure, the point you raised, that no UPND member joins this protest, because the UPND holds the view this must go on.
Right.
The people who will be protesting are saying this should not go. So the government, it is their responsibility to guard against UPND members joining the procession.
Well, they are the only ones who are in support of this.
Yes. If the UPND wants to march in protest, in support, let them also organize separately.
Right.
For the 28th, it is incumbent upon the police, it is incumbent upon the government to make sure this peaceful protest go on as planned, but make sure there is no UPND infiltrators, because that would be catastrophic. And if it so happened, it will be the police and the government that should take responsibility over that.
Wow. Quickly, a minute as we go.
You gave the background of the yellow card campaign.
Yes.
I
2020.
I also was there at that. It was very peaceful.
Yes.
Not until when PF cadres they dried through and threw stones on some members of the public that had gathered. This is what the point PK is also has alluded to. The police must be vigilant to ensure that such issues does not happen. And President Hakainde Hichilema, for him to say when the Oasis Forum undertakes their protest, let them not just reach us at the gate of State House. I would encourage him, if he's a listening president, as said by his minister, Mr. Mwetwa, to be at the gate and receive the petition. Because the Oasis Forum, probably, they will have to drop and present a petition to President Hakainde Hichilema. If truly he is a listening president, and they have said, let them come in. Instead of them coming in, because they may fear to say, if they went in, they may be compromised. Let him be by the gate. And
the
listen
same fashion
to them.
he has been doing to the students.
Yes, listen to the protesters to say, Mr. President, we are here. We don't want this constitutional amendment process because of A, B, C, D. The other details are in this petition. Here it is.
Right.
And President Hakainde Hichilema, if he's going to be there to receive it, is going to score, because people look at him to say, oh, the president really listens to what is going on. Lastly, I hope the Protestants are taking, will make sure that they are not discouraged, because remember, we are in the rain season.
Yeah.
So rains may come on the 28th, and I hope they are going to have their umbrellas, their raincoats, their gumboots, so that this, because if maybe it doesn't happen on the 28th because of the change of weather, it may not happen the other day. So let them be prepared.
Interesting. Let's move on to story number 4. Now, we look at still on the same, but now the angle changes to Dr. Sishua. Sishua was accused UPND of bribing some opposition MPs. Wow. The revelations, the allegations are that the UPND has already started buying some opposition MPs to support this Bill 7 of an amount, a figure amounting to about 3 million kwacha each MP. What's going on here? It's like there's money somewhere.
So IP, this
a lot of money somewhere.
This revelation by
Dr.
Sishua is very damning. It's an indictment. If there is any truth, if there is any truth in it, it's an indictment not just on the UPND government, it's an indictment on the morality
of the
members of parliament. Now, I don't know how true this allegation from Dr. Shua is, but based on his recent revelations, he reviewed that the president is about to appoint, make changes at the police command level, and he was justified. He reviewed those things, and exactly the way he reviewed them. Munganga Chanda,
Fred
Hamamba, and maintaining the old man at the top. It's exactly how he predicted it. He seems to have some way of getting this information from within the system. So I would not just dismiss his allegation because he has a name to protect. He's a Zambian. He's held in high esteem. He's a professor. So I don't want to just brush it and say Sishua is just politicking, because we can trace back some of the things that he said this is going to happen, and they have happened. So is it true that some of you members of parliament, you have received already half of this money, 1.5 million? Is it true? If it is not true, if Dr. Sishua is accusing you unfairly, can you hold a press conference and denounce this truth? Can you?
Because some names have already started popping up, if you have seen online.
Let them. You know what we can do, IP? Let the members of parliament, if it is true, if it is not true that they have been bribed, let them denounce the constitutional making process.
All right.
Let them say publicly they don't support it and they have not received any money. It is also, as I said, an indictment. Is it no wonder that the government is pushing so hard, even when citizens have said no?
Knowing that they've already secured some sellouts out there.
But this alone, this allegation alone, tells us the government is not sincere in pushing this Bill 7. Because if the constitution making process is good for the nation, why must anyone be bribed to pass the law? Here is an allegation that the government must come clean. I said it's an indictment on the government and on the morality of the citizens, the members of parliament. We do not know how true this allegation is by Dr. Sishua, but he has published it. And therefore, if he has published it, we are not going to pretend that it is not there in the public domain. We are not going to pretend that government has not read it. We are not going to pretend that members of parliament have not read it. All of these who have been alleged to be part of this unfortunate plot, a low level, low caliber, low thinking, because it is against the public good of our nation. You cannot, if it is true, IP, you cannot be bribing speech analysts here to make a law that is not in favor of the good of the nation. That is why we have to take time to discuss this thing. We as a media house, we are part of the watchdog of society. We must bring to the fore these things that may be injurious to the goodwill of our being, to the good of the nation. We must not shy away. Why must Dr. Sishua make such a damning revelation that members of parliament have been bribed and they've already received half of this money, 1.5 million? We challenge opposition members of parliament because according to him, he says the members of parliament from UPND, it is a given they will vote in favor of this bill. Now, it is the opposition and independent members. We challenge you. We know you are watching. Can you prove your uprightness, morality, and good standing, that you have not betrayed the people who sent you to represent them in that house, that you are now getting money to go and vote for a bill that the citizens themselves who sent you there have rejected? Can you hold a press conference and denounce the bill and confirm that you have not received any money. Similarly, there's nothing for the government to be scared of. That's why we have the Ministry of Information. They have to give a clear position. How can anyone paint the government so black? Do you know that bribery is a crime?
It is, of course.
Bribery is a criminal offense. So how can anyone accuse the government that is supposed to be the custodian of the law of bribing citizens? How can anyone accuse the government of that? Why must the government be quiet when they're being accused of such a grave crime? So the government has been accused that they have bribed members of parliament. We expect the government to denounce this accusation, because it takes away the confidence that citizens might have in the governance and democratic process. Laws must be made by those who have been entrusted to go and make the law. There is no room to bribe them to make the law.
And if this is true, PK, why should underline the word, if this is true that government is spending all this huge amount of money to buy people in favor or to support Bill 7, the question is, in a struggling economy like ours, why should we begin to spend money in a careless manner like this, if it's true?
I do not want to believe that it is true. I do not want to believe that the government is spending this money to bribe people. What I want to believe is that the government will not sit down and be accused of bribery and they will just keep quiet like nothing has been said. That I'll be uncomfortable with. I do not believe that the government is bribing or the Upnd is bribing MPs.
I also don't want to believe, but
I don't want to believe it.
For me, I want to give it a benefit of doubt. I don't want to believe it because I have no evidence from where I sit here, but I want to give it a benefit of doubt, and I will justify this. Under the PF, Bill 10.
Maybe we should call
the same allegations, happened where we were being told, we covered stories of some MPs from the UPND at the time.
Maybe we should call...
had also been
IP.
accused. Yes, speaker.
Wouldn't it be good if we called Dr. Sishua live on this analysis?
Yeah, it makes sense.
So perhaps we can hear from him.
Yeah, I think let's make an attempt
so that he can speak to this, because he's the one who has published this.
Yes. Exactly, it will make sense.
And he has made us to talk about it.
Yes.
It would only be good for you to ask him live on air to say, where did you get this information?
I will make an effort. I hope he picks.
Please make an effort so that we can hear from him.
Interesting.
And tell the nation, because these allegations are too wild to the extent that if there is any truth that there are 3 millions exchanging hands from government into the private hands,
when our mothers are suffering out
at the UTH, then it means there is justifiable cause for the protest against this constitution to go ahead, because the very reason that some people may be paid as being alleged makes us as citizens to question, why must people be paid to make a law that does not stand well with the rest of the citizens? I would really like for us to call Dr. Sishua.
I think so. Let's do that.
And ask him to provide more clarity
information on this.
Yeah.
As Mikey comes in, but the good part, the good thing which happened under the PF, outside the PF in 2020, those members of parliament from the UPND who had been allegedly accused that they were bought. The good part, or the good thing which happened, was that eventually, for betraying the people of Zambia and their constituencies, they were punished. All of them, they lost their constituencies, if you ask me. I will not name them, but quite a number of them who had actually gone against the aspirations and demands of the people to vote against Bill 10 of the PF from the UPND were punished, all of them. Comrade Mike Sichula, we do not know. Of course, we're trying to make an attempt to call Dr. Sishua to get more information regarding these allegations. But what could be your take? Should you be bought, if at all it is true? Should you be bought to support a constitution which means well for the people of Zambia? Should you entice me?
You know, IP and our dear viewers out there, it is mind-blogging that you could think like, surely, if it is true, the government can spend that colossal amount of money, 3 million kwacha. It's a lot of money that can ensure that some classes in Zambia that do not have desks, those classes can have desks. It can ensure that UTH presently, as we speak, because of lack of bed spaces in some male wards, male patients are sharing wards with female patients. That money could be used to create some form of bed space at the University Teaching Hospital of Zambia. So, if true, if that statement, that allegation becomes true as alleged by Professor Shua, then it is quite unfortunate that you need to pay people to change the constitution of Zambia. That is uncalled for, and that is irresponsible at the highest level. But let me put it this way. Chapter 1 Foundation has taught the nation that some people were given as low as 100 kwacha to make submissions. And yet the government has not refuted those allegations. The same government has been heavily involved in paying, providing logistics to some chiefs to go and make submissions. So you get what I'm trying to talk about. You provide logistical support to members of the traditional leadership to go and make submissions. That is, people are not freely making these submissions, you are inducing them. And Chapter 1 Foundation seems to have discovered that people were paid as low as 100 kwacha to make a submission. Now, if those allegations have gone unattended to by the government, then we are in a very, very serious state of affairs that needs to be resolved, and the government needs to answer to the Zambians. Because another issue why I could believe what Shua has said, do you know that there are some independent members of parliament who have forgotten their role as members of parliament who are elected on an independent ticket, and they have gone to bed with the governing party with an assurance, in inverted commas, an assurance that we are going to adopt you in 2026. So what?
And those are the people who are causing confusion in Upnd, if you ask me, because you can't jump from the opposition and you want to be adopted now in the ruling party. What about those members who have been in the Upnd for all these years?
It is because of that narrative that I may not disagree with what Shua has spoken about. Because just the mere assurance that we are going to adopt you on the UPND ticket, some of these independent members of parliament, they can surely sell their soul and vote for the bill that a number of Zambians have rejected. Because some of these MPs, independent MPs, some of them, they are saving their first term. And they have seen the sweetness of being a member of parliament. They have enjoyed the privileges of being a member of parliament. And they would want to continue on that position. And some of those, they may lack that morality you are demanding, and they may be induced by that to say we are going to give you the adoption certificate on the UPND if you do this.
Wow.
Now, remember, just an adoption can make an MP lose his mind and support a bill that the majority of Zambians have reduced. What more 3 million kwacha? Because 3 million kwacha, if they add it to his or her gratuity, which is somewhere around 5 million kwacha, someone who have 8 million kwacha. And this amount of money, according to to reports that have done by, is it TIZ, for you to win a parliamentary seat, you need you need more than 1 million kwacha. I may have forgotten the actual figure. So definitely someone who has got ambitions to go for the second term as member of parliament, they may get that money because they want to advance their stay in parliament. But it is sad because you are not using your brains, you are using your belly to vote for a constitution amendment that majority Zambians have rejected.
As a matter of fact, I make a clarion call to every Zambian watching.
Please.
For all the members of parliament who may be perceived to have betrayed the confidence of the Zambian voters, who gave them the mandate to go and represent them, then they misrepresent them. Every single one of the sitting members of parliament, they must be voted out. They must not be given another chance because they are not representing the interest of Zambia.
They are betrayers.
They are betrayers,
Sellers.
and they are using a sacred position as a survival mechanism. Go and look for a job. Go and start a company. Go and start farming. Stop abusing parliament and making it akalilo. You are not in parliament to bribe your way through to the next term and to forget your sacred duty to perform. We must call every member of parliament to order because you are there. You must be honorable. Accusations against you should not even be anywhere near your name. So you need to come out as we challenged you, make that press statement and denounce the fact that there are allegations of bribery.
Thank you. Let's move on. I'll ask for 2 minutes from director as we close. We talked about the political violence which occurred in Kawe on Honorable Given Lubinda. Now let's talk about again the Ndola mayor in Jones Kariati, who was also attacked by some suspected UPND cadres. How do we close, Comrade Mike Sichula? Your take over this matter.
I think
we've seen the pictures.
Do you have the images of him lying down?
Yeah, I think we have the picture. We'll show it.
I think we need to, as a nation, especially the governing UPND, they must not hide behind the veil of saying there is no Kadarism in this country. When you begin to hide, then you are not going to solve the problem. So like I did say earlier on, the police are professional when they are led to do their job without political interference. If the police begin to pay a blind eye to something, then public confidence is eroded. And when public confidence is eroded, it is not eroded in the police itself. It is eroded in the party in power. Because people begin to say, this party, look, ABCD is happening, ABCD is happening, and they're not doing well. Then your popularity, regardless of how much CDF has increased, regardless of the debt restructuring, regardless of how many power projects you are doing, Zambians will say this government is not good because the police are being selective in the manner they do their activities when it comes to politics. In other duties, the police are very, very professional. So this, what happened to Ndola Mayor? Ndola Mayor is a PF member.
Yeah.
And whether he's a PF member or not, the position he holds is the position of government. He must be protected. He must not be beaten. He must not be beaten anyhow. He must be protected. And remember, The other time, his house came under attack. We
Okay.
don't
Have you seen the
need
message I sent?
something
We want to put you
like
live
that because this country,
on the analysis to
this
just talk
country
about the
is
3
going
million
to be
brethren.
become lawlessness. People begin to say Zambia is a lawless country, where a civic leader who
Yes,
oversees
it is.
Ndola on the Copper Belt province can be beaten to pulp.
Yeah.
And
Okay, thank
there are
you.
no
Thanks so much.
serious
Just hold on.
investigations that police conduct. It is a very, very sad state of affairs.
Okay, so let's just hold on a bit. I'll disrupt you in a minute. Let's speak to Doc. Dr. Sishua is right online to discuss the story regarding the allegations that some members of parliament, mostly those from the opposition, have already started or have been bribed by the ruling party. Doc, good evening to you and welcome to the analysis program.
Thank you so much for having me and good evening.
Thank you so much, and allow me to apologize to you. I know that this phone call, you did not expect it, but we value you for picking our call so abruptly.
No, on the issues that have to do with Zambia, you can call anytime because that's our country.
Right, thank you so much. Let's get into it. You've written a very strong statement, very strong and long statement as usual. But what is important for the people of Zambia watching the program are the revelations you've just brought out that some opposition MPs have already started or have been bribed. What's the story here?
Well, the story is that the president is desperate to pass that bill. At various stages, that bill has been rejected by the people. If you remember, the Constitutional Court ruled that the process that gave rise to Bill 7 was unconstitutional. But in the aftermath of that, in fact, before the ruling, he tried to preempt it by directing the Minister of Justice to withdraw that bill. Not to actually say, no, we have suspended, I don't know, I've forgotten the language he used. The challenge with that thinking was that it seemed as if he was doing that out of his own goodwill, even though he claimed that it was in the aftermath of the conversation that he had at State House with the civil society organizations. Now, the moment the Constitutional Court ruled that the process that gave birth to Bill 7 was constitutional, it meant that that thing was now void. And even the Law Association of Zambia did say that you can't resurrect this thing, you have to start afresh. To this day, Hichilema and his friends in government have not withdrawn that bill from Parliament. They have left it there. And we know the story. They went on and appointed the committee. The Constitutional Court ruling was very clear in terms of its orders. It says, one, the process must be led by the people. What you have seen is that the executive, the one that is leading it, and that's the point I was trying to make in that article. He said that violates the order of the Constitutional Court judgment. And then the second element of that ruling was that there should be an independent body of experts. What we saw was not an independent board of experts. It was the supporters of the president appointed and then branded as a technical committee. You see, there are certain things over which other countries should put together. We shouldn't antagonize each other to say, I'm going to bulldoze my way here because I'm the president. That constitution is for all of us. It's not just for Upnd members, it's for every Zambian. And so we should build consensus. The people said, the court said, can you appoint an independent board of experts? We saw something else. So why this insistence? The president is desperate to pass that constitutional amendment bill number 7 because it is essential to the ruling party's electoral prospects. And I was demonstrating in that article that he has not ended there. In fact, he has been very busy mobilizing support from opposition MPs and independents. Now, if you have followed developments, you have not seen even those people who are standing for PF, presidential leadership, MPs, You have not heard, for example, them denouncing Bill 7 to say, oh, we are not going to support Bill 7 for this, and that reason, for example, the public are opposed to it. The Oasis Forum has been very, very clear in its position that this thing should be done, however, it should be rejected and abandoned. Now, what you would expect is MPs, especially from the opposition, being very, very clear in relation to their position on this bill. If I asked you to say, do you know the position of, say, Brian Mundubiro on the bill? You won't, because he doesn't give that position. He has not said, if this thing comes to Parliament, I'm going to vote against this bill. If I asked you, do you know the position of Kampion on this bill? Or any other PFLP, for example, maybe Mao Sampa and a couple of others would say they have expressed themselves. But for many PFLPs, they haven't. And I discovered evidence actually that for many of them, under the table payments have been agreed with the executive to say you're going to support us in this bill, and in return for all sort of favors. So there are a number of reasons. One is financial inducement that has been given to MPs to say if you support this thing, we are going to give you 3 million. To be divided in 2 installments. 1.5 million will be paid to you before the vote. The other 1.5 million will be paid to you after the vote. Now, these are under the table payments that are difficult to prove. But some of the people who have been approached, I've spoken to them, and I can't disclose their name because it's in confidence. They say, this is what is happening, and we thought we should know. Now, the other MPs who have prosecutable offences, the executive went to them and said, here is a dossier on you that we have. You should have done this, you didn't do it, it's a crime, you can go to court. In exchange for your freedom, you are going to support Bill 7. They are compromised. Even MPs that Zambians today think that they are clean and very, very good MPs, they are actually compromised. Then you have a third layer of MPs who have some different cases away from corruption. There's one MP, for example, that I won't name, where they went to him and said, no, you have almost a murder case here. We can go in and you lose your seat. You are going to support this Bill 7, otherwise you're going to... That MP is a PF MP, and he agreed. So you have a set of different reasons, but what is consistent, the commonality between all these reasons is the financial inducement. Now, what the Oasis Forum should do to actually expose some of these MPs who have taken the bribes, or who are about to are lining up taking the bribes, some of them I know this week are lining up, are going to say, can I have my advance? What the Oasis Forum should do is to go to MPs, especially the opposition one and the independents, and go with a social contract of some kind to say, can you sign here pledging that you are not going to support this bill or its successor because it's against public interest? Those MPs who refuse to sign, the public then should be able to make their own conclusions. Because, for example, you have MPs who have said we are endorsing Munduvile. Okay, there have been signed about 9 of them. Why should you be willing to sign a document endorsing an individual, but be unwilling to sign a document pledging support to defend the Constitution? When the MPs were elected, they pledged to uphold the law, to defend the Constitution. Right. So what is being asked of them is not something strange. It is a very, very principled thing to do. The Constitution must be protected from executive interests. We heard, and I wrote in that article, you heard Marshall Mujende telling us that that thing was a government-driven exercise. Even the committee that was appointed was to go and do the government's work. He said this on Radio Phoenix when he appeared there, I think on October 23 on the People Talk. Right. Now, the court judgment was not saying that. The court was saying it should be the people-driven exercise. Here is the government Solicitor General who is telling you, no, this whole thing was actually a predetermined thing. It is a sham because the court judgment has not been followed. I know. When you are supposed to hold the executive to account, participating in this kind of corrupt activities under the table payments, that is wrong because you are betraying public interest. Interesting.
I know this will be a long conversation between yourself and us in the media. I was actually curious to find out, based on the research that the information you've gathered as a researcher, and I know you as a very candid man, a blunt person when it comes to conversation. And I was very much curious to find out who are those MPs who have seemingly sold the people of Zambia via this constitutional amendment? But of course, you've mentioned that you can't name them. I will leave it like that. Let me go by the number. How many of these opposition MPs so far? Let's just capture the number. How many in total have seemingly already been bribed or are in the process of being bribed?
Those who have accepted the under the table payments are 10 MPs. The numbers may rise. I know about 3 who are on the verge of accepting to do so. But it also depends on the pressure from outside. You know, this thing that Oasis Forum is doing is very, very important because MPs behave like soldiers. They go with the public mood. If they see that this thing is not supported by the people and the church is in the forefront of doing that, they can turn around. For some of them, you see, they have not lost their consciousness completely. They can turn. But what was missing is what the Oasis Forum has started, which is to generate public sentiment. You have to understand also here that this constitutional thing is linked even to the divisions you are seeing in PF. There are different factions in the PF, and the PF has not helped matters here because of those factions. So you have the Lubinda faction, you have the Munduvile faction, then you have the Chavinga faction, and you have the Makebi faction. Even the event you saw where Lubinda was suspending people, I think it was yesterday I think it was yesterday or the day before. Those things are linked to what's going on. There are many mistakes that the PF has made. For example, Lubinda, in my view, should never have stood for the PF president because as president, his job should have been to hold on to the party, to unite the party, and to make sure that those who are standing are able to do so without him participating in a context that could lead to a conflict of interest. But he is the legitimate president of the PF at the moment because he was appointed by Edgar Lungu, for example. So whether one likes him or not, they have got to recognize that leadership. That leadership is essential, providing the kind of leadership that you need for the opposition, main opposition party, to have a principled position or a common position on issues like Bill 10. But the decision by Lubinda to stand has made things worse because it places him in a position where he's both a player and the referee. So even when he does decisions like that he took the other day where he suspended some people, and in my view actually which was the correct thing that he did, given what they were doing in the background, it looks like it's a wrong thing. But you have to understand the other faction. You have the Chavinga faction. Chavinga has no support in the PF. But he has the papers and he is backed by the state. The state has realized that, Chavinga is not taking us anywhere because he doesn't have the papers. So what the executive did was to go for somebody else, one of the candidates, and say, okay, we are going to work with this one. And here's what we are going to do. We are going to give you your freedom. We are going to give you money. We are going to give you a position. In return, you are going to give us MPs support for Bill 7. And we are going to give us, structures because we need somebody to work with. And we can have a deal after the election where it's almost like a government of national unity, a German declaration of some kind, somebody making the president look like a kaunda of some kind. There are things that are happening in the background, my brother, that Zambians don't know, but that shows the rottenness of our politics. So you have that faction of that one is also sponsored by the state. The people that Zambians actually think these are principled people, they are not. And that pains me.
Which one is that? Which one is that?
At some point we can go in with the names, but I'm trying to highlight the factions that are making it very easy for those outsiders to actually buy MPs. Right. So you have I've talked about the two factions supported by the state, and then you have the Lubinda faction, and then you have what's the name of this guy, Makebi Zulu. You see, Makebi Zulu comes in. And this is somebody who was leading this thing against who was a spokesperson for the family. Again, that has problems in terms of we're doing all these things to come to this conclusion, for example. But Makebi Zulu is like Edgar Lungu. You see, he was very close to Edgar Lungu, and I suspect that there are people who are very close to Edgar Lungu who associate with Makebi Zulu, for example, and say, no, in Makebi Zulu we see somebody who, we can work with closely, for example. They can support him in one way or the other. problems with all these candidates, for different reasons. The key point is that these factional battles in the PF have made it easy for Hichilema and his friends to target this party for capture.
Right.
So you have MPs who are it's blackmailed, so to speak, by the executive. You have to do this or else this will happen. They have skeletons, of course, in their closet. They have prosecutable offenses. But Zambians don't know some of these people, that they actually compromise people. They are out to betray public interest. That's why I'm hoping that the Oasis Forum can go to this, each MP, particularly the opposition and the independents, go there and ask them, can you commit that you are not going to support this thing that Hichilema and his friends want to force upon us? Those who refuse, my brother, to sign that thing, they will expose themselves, because you have traitors, people who are betraying public interest. It shouldn't happen. When the people have placed hope in these MPs, they should do the principled thing, which is to reject the Bill 7.
Right.
Or its successor when it is.
And lastly, Doc, there is an amnesty which has been given by the president so far. I think there was a statement issued by State House today of the president making an indication that there's no need for the people to go on the street and protest, because the doors of State House are open. Should the Oasis Forum or the conveners of this pending protest call off the protest and go and meet the president? What is your take?
My take is that is twofold. First is that if you look at those statements that Hamasaka likes issuing on the name of the president, they often turn out to be untrue. It's one thing when HH stands up and says something, it's HH speaking. It's another thing when it's Hamasaka who issues a statement and dumps it to the public to say we should believe that this is what HH has said. Why? Because Hamasaka has put a statement there. If you remember, Hamasaka issued a statement some time back saying HH has no intention whatsoever to change the constitution, to amend the constitution before the next election. John Sangwa even wrote a letter, a lengthy one. I remember that. He wrote to HH to commend him, he praised on him, saying you are very different from those who came before you because they always change the constitution. So this commitment you have made is very, very encouraging. John is my friend. I told John, I said, I don't believe what Hamasaka says, that HH can say this. HH will change the constitution. John said, no, but we have to believe that what Hamasaka is saying is actually what the HH has told you to say. Where are we today? We are at a stage where HH is pushing to change the constitution. The same person who, according to Hamasaka's press statement, told us that he was not going to change the constitution. So I doubt some of these statements that Hamasaka issues in the name of HH on those papers. Let HH come out. Let him not be a coward. Come out and say, this is what I'm thinking. He was addressing people at a church gathering some point earlier today. He could have said those things himself, but we know that we are dealing with him. We can hold him to account, because the people he keeps sending, like Hamasaka, to speak in his name. Hamasaka, he doesn't even allow Hamasaka to speak. When you have press conferences or whatever, people are meeting, the person who speaks is Jito, who is an economic advisor according to his designation. Hamasaka, he shouldn't even take him seriously enough to actually be the face of the president in terms of communication, especially where in meetings involving other foreign dignitaries. We saw the Chinese thing. You would think actually Hamasaka is not there at State House. So even this statement that has been issued, it should be taken with a pinch of salt. Because we have seen a statement issued by Hamasaka before that have turned out to be true. The second point is that the president is being insincere. You see, if he had wanted to dialogue, he should not have proceeded with a technical committee. He should have announced the suspension of that bill to allow for dialogue. That's what you do. You don't do what he has done. You go ahead with the committee. You go ahead with all this process that have happened. When this committee is about to give him a report, and I know that they are pushing, I can tell you for a fact that they are pushing to have that Bill 7 be brought back to Parliament before the 5th of December when Parliament goes back on recess. That's their plan. So he's not sincere in that call. He's just trying to derail the Oasis Forum's move so that this 28th November protest doesn't go ahead, so that he can say, I called them, these people. what the Horses Forum should do is to proceed with that protest. If the president wants, he can wait for them at State House when they deliver the protest. Say, here is our concern. You can respond and then set a meeting with them afterwards, if at all he wants, because he would have received their petition. If the police want to stop the bishops, let them go ahead, because can you imagine a sight of Archbishop Chama being arrested by the police for unlawful assembly? It will be a terrible sight. What the president should do is to allow the Horses Forum to proceed, let them present their concerns to him, and if he's sincere, he should abandon the Bill 7 thing, everything that has been done so far, withdraw that thing from Parliament, and then announce a suspension of the process that have taken place so far and say, I'm calling for dialogue.
All right.
You can't do what the president has done and then come out at the 11th hour to say, let's talk. That man should really respect the people. It's not good what he's doing.
Interesting. So, should they call off the protest as we go? Should they call off?
No, they shouldn't.
Okay.
They shouldn't. That would be a huge mistake. That's exactly what they want. They want to derail that protest. No, let them go ahead with the protest. It's a peaceful thing. What is important, the bishop, the Horses Forum has said it will be a peaceful exercise, and that's a very good thing. Let them proceed. Just stand their ground, go to the Freedom Statue, march to the State House, deliver their petition to the president peacefully, and let the president respond. In the end, if what they want is dialogue, he will still get that at the end. That dialogue can take place after the protest. If he means well and he wants dialogue, let him suspend everything relating to Bill 10, including this rubbish of the technical committee that he appointed to rubber stamp his wishes.
Well, rubbish is a very strong word, though, to use, Doc. Otherwise, thank you so much for speaking to us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, beautiful. I've been speaking to Dr. Sishua. They are a prominent historian and Zambian stakeholder so far based in South Africa. Right, Pika, we have to go. Doc has actually chewed my time.
We have to go. I am just happy that we said it would be good to hear him, because the allegations that he made in his article were too grave. Now he has given us a number. 10 MPs from the opposition and independent, and some more are still negotiating, have already accepted under the table payment. So UPND government, you've been put on the spot by Dr. Sishua with that revelation that you have bribed 10 MPs. Can you come clean on that?
10 by 3 million.
10 by 3 million. Just so that the constitution can be changed. That is immoral, if you ask me.
Wow.
That's immoral.
Sad. Comrade, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much, IP. And I'm also glad that Professor Sishua has almost like vindicated me. I also have trust issues with Mr. Creson Amasaka. Whenever he speaks, I don't usually believe from the onset.
Wow.
Thank you very much, and good evening to our dear viewers.
Thank you so much, PK. We hope to be back next week as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right, allow me to thank all of you that have managed to tune in this evening for the analysis program, including Dr. Sishua. Of course, we gave him an ambush phone call just to clarify on a few things. We're back again next week. This is IP. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa.